Hey guys, I'm back with the second part of error analysis. So last video I had given you one small homework. I hope you have done that. We'll surely discuss that. One more thing, thank you so much for watching and supporting my videos till now. If you have not watched, go to the channel description, do watch and have fun. Okay. One thing I'll assure you, you will never go out of my videos without clearing your concepts. You'll find everything here to clear your concepts, starting from definitions to examples from your real life, numerical problems, experiments, activities, and a lot of fun, so that physics is never made easier before for you. So have fun and enjoy this video. Okay guys, we'll start with a very fun experiment. Do one thing, take a scale or a measuring tape and take three measurements each of length and breadth of your study table and then record them on a table. Now find out the mean absolute error, means delta L and delta B for each of these cases. Now find the area of the table, means length into breadth for each of the measurement, and then again find the mean absolute area and observe your results. You will see that the errors which are in length and breadth also result in an error in the area. Similarly, there are many other derived quantities like volume, density, etc., which involve mathematical operations on fundamental quantities. And you will see that if there is an error in each of these fundamental quantities, they will result in an error in the final value of the derived quantity also. So we need to know that what happens when you multiply, add, subtract or divide two errors, right? So this is known as combination of errors, means doing mathematical operations on errors. This is also known as propagation of errors. This is because an error in the individual quantities will be propagated in the derived quantity also. So we'll see one by one. First of all, here there is a cube. It's an example where volume is calculated from length, breadth and height. Each of them is having an error, delta L, delta B and delta H, which will result in error in the volume also. We have these types of combination errors. First is error of sum or difference, means addition or subtraction. Then error of product or quotient, which is multiplication or division. And then third one is when you raise the error to some power. First of all, error of sum or difference means when two quantities are added or subtracted. You will see that the absolute error in the final result will be equal to the sum of absolute errors in the individual quantities. For example, take two quantities A and B. If the absolute errors in them are delta A and delta B with the modulus sign, then take a third quantity C, which is equal to sum of A and B. C equal to A plus B, whose absolute error is delta C. You replace it in C equal to A plus B along with the errors and then open the brackets. When you open the brackets, you will see if you cancel out C and A plus B, you will be left with delta C equal to delta A plus delta B, means the error in the final quantity equal to sum of individual errors in the individual quantity. Same thing you can establish in differences also. You will again get, you have to see, you have to notice here that even though the original values, mean values are subtracted, but the absolute errors have to be added here. So delta C is again equal to delta A plus delta B. Here it is plus minus, but always we take the maximum error, so it will be delta A plus delta B, because we need to be safe on the safer side. If you have not understood, this example will make it clear. There are two objects A and B with lengths 5 cm and 7 cm respectively, and their errors are 0.1 and 0.2 centimeters. These are absolute errors. What is the error in determining their total length? Means length of A plus length of B, and difference in their lengths, means length of A minus length of B. So we have seen right now that even if you are adding or subtracting two individual quantities, to get the final error, you have to always add the absolute errors. So this you have to keep in mind. Even though the original quantities are added or subtracted, absolute errors have to be always added. Now let's look at the solution. So the first length A is given as 5 centimeter, and its error is given as 0.1 centimeter. Similarly, the second length B is given as 7 centimeter, and its corresponding absolute error, I'm not putting the mod sign but it is understood, 0.2 centimeter. Okay, so the first question here is, what will happen to A plus B, or their sum? So I'll write it as S. S stands for the total length. S equal to A plus B. The sum is A plus B, which is 5 plus 7, which is equal to 12 centimeters. So this is your first part of the actual result. Now we'll go to the error. So we know that error has to be always added. So delta A plus delta B. So if you add the individual absolute errors, 0.1 plus 0.2, it becomes 0.3 centimeters. So what is the absolute error in the final result? The sum of absolute errors in the individual quantities. So the total sum I can write as 12 plus minus 0.3 centimeters. Isn't it easy? Now come to the second part where it is difference. Difference I denote by D. Suppose A minus B. 5 minus 7, here we will take the mod since they have asked only difference. So it is 2 centimeter. So difference is 2. Even though it's minus 2, we are taking modulus. Okay. Now absolute error, even though the quantities are subtracted, absolute errors have to be added. Keep this in mind. So it comes out to be the same, 0.3 centimeters. So the actual value of difference we can write as difference equal to 2 plus minus 0.3 centimeter, means it can range from 2 minus 0.3 to 2 plus 0.3. Anywhere in between this the value can lie. So I hope you have understood the first rule, isn't it? Combination of error and sum or difference. Now there is one small sub result of the rule 1. Okay, so result is, suppose I have a quantity x and then its error, absolute error is delta x. If I multiply it with a constant, say 3, then its absolute error also have to be multiplied it with the same constant. This is actually derived from our first rule only, that if you add, you will have to add in the absolute error also. For example, L equal to 2.01 plus 0.01 meters. Here 2.01 is the mean value, but 0.01 is the absolute error, mean absolute error. Then what will be 3L? 3L will be 3 multiplied by the length, the actual mean value, and the same quantity 3 you will multiply with the absolute error, which is 0.01. Okay, so you'll multiply and then we'll get the result. Moving on to the second rule, which is error of a product or quotient, means if you add or multiply or divide. Now the rule says when two quantities are multiplied or divided, the relative error, now this is relative not absolute, is the result of sum of relative errors. Suppose Z is equal to AB. Z is a quantity which is product of A and B, and A and B are right along with their absolute errors. Z plus minus delta Z equal to A plus minus delta A, B plus minus delta B. So here these are absolute errors. How do you get relative error? If you divide whole by Z, you will get the relative error. So here what I have done, we have opened all the brackets. So after opening the brackets, here delta A into delta B we can ignore, since they are small errors. When two small quantities are multiplied, they will be even smaller, so you can ignore. So if you divide everything by Z and on the RHS by AB, doesn't make a difference because Z is equal to AB, you will get this. Here delta Z by Z is what? It is a relative error in Z. And here, as I said, delta A and delta B we are ignoring since they are very small quantities, and when you multiply two small quantities you get an even smaller quantity. After doing this, and 1 will be cancelled, you will get the result as relative error in Z equal to relative error in A plus relative error in B. Same thing we are doing in Z equal to A divided by B if Z is the quotient of A and B. Again, we will follow the same procedure where you will be dividing by Z. Basically, why are we dividing by Z or the mean value? So that you can get the relative error. Okay. So here the only difference from the first rule is, in the first rule, sum or difference, what you do is you add the absolute errors. But if the individual quantities are multiplied or divided, you add their relative errors, not the absolute errors, or you can even add their percentage errors because it's just multiplication. Look at this example, it will make everything clear. Length and breadth are given. So here 0.01 and 0.02 are the errors each. These are absolute errors, you can see. Then what are the values of length into breadth? Means multiplication, and length by breadth means division. Okay, so we know what we have to do. Since these are absolute errors given, we need to first convert them into relative error, okay, or percentage error. That's easy. So delta L by L, this is relative error, multiplied by 100 gives me percentage error. So I'll substitute the value. It gives me 0.05% for the quantity length. For breadth, when we do the same thing, substitute the values. 0.02 divided by 2.52 into 100. This gives me percentage error as 0.79%. So these I have got my percentage errors. Okay, so we have converted our relative errors into percentage errors. Now come to length into breadth. Length into breadth 20.04 into 2.52 plus minus. Now what do we do with the errors? We add the percentage errors, whether it is multiplication or division, we add the percentage error. So this first part is in the unit meter square, but the second part is in percentage. So you'll get around 50.50 meter square plus 0.84%. Now this 0.84% we have to convert into, we need to convert it into the relative error, since in the absolute error, since the question it is given in the form of absolute error. So after conversion, 0.84. Now how to convert? 0.84% means 0.84 by 100 of the actual value, means 50.50. This error here is converted into absolute error back, so which will give you 0.42. Now you can write the unit as meter square. Now come to length divided by breadth. So first part means 20.04 will be divided by 2.52. But what will happen to the errors? Yes, obviously, whether it is multiplication or division, the percentage errors will always be added, or the relative errors will be added. Now this is right now in percentage. The error part, it is currently in percentage, which is again 0.84%, because as I said, both cases it will be added. Now converting this 0.84 into absolute error, what will we get? Plus minus. Same procedure we're doing, but this time it is the percentage of what? 7.95. So don't skip the step. Here it is a percentage of 7.95, means the quotient. So this is how you convert absolute errors and the errors in sum. Now another rule, the third rule is error in the measured quantity raised to a power, means if the quantity is raised to some constant power. Suppose z equal to a square. So here the power is 2. It is basically what? A into a means multiplication. So this is a sub result. So when you multiply, what do? The relative errors you add. Since both are same, you can write it as 2 into delta A by A. Or in a more general form, I can write that if z equal to a to the power n, the relative error in z will be n multiplied by the relative error in A. Suppose I have these many quantities, a to the power p, b to the power q divided by c to the power r. What will happen? P into relative error in A plus, because these are multiplied, so their relative errors will be added. So I hope this concept is clear to everyone. So whenever there is a power, that power comes in multiplication. It becomes k times the relative error in the quantity. This will be more clear when we will be doing this question. If maximum errors in the measurement of mass and length of cube are 3 and 2%, then what is the maximum error in the measurement of density of the cube? Now what is density? Density is mass upon volume, and volume is cube of length. So here we are combined both the rules. Okay, we are going to use division also. We are also going to use the third rule, which is raising to the power. So what is the error, percentage error in mass? 3%. Your relative error multiplied by 100, which is 3%. What is the percentage error in length? It is 2%. This is what is given in the question. Come to density. Density equal to mass upon volume. Volume I will write as cube of length. So what will be the error in density? So we'll find out the percentage error directly in density. Delta D by D into 100. Because we have a formula directly for finding out the relative error or percentage error, we'll use that. So the relative error of mass plus, because these are divided, we'll add the relative error, and this 3 comes in front, L. Now it's very easy, simply substitute delta m by m into 100. You don't have to cancel these hundreds in the beginning only, that's just another way. So to make it more clear, let's assume it's not cancelled, then delta m by m into 100 is 3, delta L by L into 100 is 2, so it gives you 9%. Isn't it really easy? So I hope this concept is clear to you. Now this is a homework for you guys. According to Joule's law, you've studied Joule's law in 10th standard. H equal to I square RT. Okay. Where I is current, R is resistance, T is time. And in each of these quantities, pause the video here and read the question. The errors are 1%, 2% and 1% respectively. Then what is the maximum error in heat? So here this is again a combination of rule 2 and rule 3, where the quantities are multiplied and there is a power involved. Okay, so the procedure is very similar to the one that we have done. So try out this question guys, and come in the next class. We'll definitely discuss the answer if you want. So any doubts, you can write it in the comment box. Like, share and subscribe guys, so that next video you'll never miss. Okay, so have fun and keep learning physics and keep practicing these numericals. Bye bye.